Dawson's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here, and welcome to my video for Hasbro PulseCon 2023, obviously specifically regarding Power Rangers. Let's talk about it. I mean, it was pretty underwhelming. I think most people expected it to be underwhelming. I think it was like maybe only slightly less than what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting anything huge. I feel like I was expecting a little something more, but so in terms of reveals, we only got 2 reveals, and they kind of weren't even really reveals because we've known about them for a while. They showed off the Omega Rangers, which are going up as a PulseCon exclusive. Later today, as of this recording, by the time this goes up, it might already be up. But those have been known about for a long time. I think, you know, somebody had them in hand or whatever before, or at least pictures of them. So we saw pictures a little while back, and like their existence leaked a really long time ago. I almost want to say a year ago. So we know about them. I am still excited for them with the Lightning Collection disappearing for a while, or possibly forever. I am glad that we're at least getting one of my top wants, which was the Lightning Collection Omega Rangers. Although I'm disappointed, this likely means that it would be a long time before we get something for the Death Ranger. Maybe we'll get like a cool like statue like that for him or something. The other one obviously being the Master Morpher, which is something else we've not only known about for a while, but like I think it came out somewhere. That's how other people were getting their hands on it. It came out somewhere else in the world. So it was a bit weird them being like, some of you might know about this. I'm like, dude, it's out, sort of. So anyway, there was a nice moment that they dedicated to JDF and that they're going to be dedicating part of the proceeds to a charity, which was nice. And they talked about how he was an advocate for the Morpher and like came in to do voice recordings for it. Although it's unfortunate though, they're like, oh, we wrote a script with Easter eggs in it of like, yeah, there are some lines from it, but I think you stumbled upon those by accident. There's also Easter eggs from stuff that never happened. So that's also going up as a PulseCon exclusive, which is to be expected. I thought it might be like one of those just retailer exclusives where it wouldn't show up in stores, but it would be like, you know, on Hasbro Pulse and Amazon, maybe Best Buy or something. But I guess that kind of makes sense since it's more of a niche thing. Niche? Haven't done that one in a while. Weird looking back though, wasn't the Power Morpher a Walmart exclusive or something? Anyway, those were the only 2 reveals. There was nothing else new. I was kind of hoping that there was more in the pipeline that we didn't know about before the Lightning Collection ends, but at least as of this moment, it doesn't seem like there's as much as I thought. They did highlight the Selfie series, which I don't even care about talking about. I'm upset that I just mentioned even just then. And they did highlight the new Super 7 figures, which I wanted to talk about just for a second because I didn't make a separate video for this, and I was a bit confused because like that previous wave that was announced that had White Ranger in it, they're like, well, there wasn't enough interest in Madame Woe and everything else, so it's only the White Ranger coming out. So I assumed that meant after that they were going to wind down, but I guess they're keeping going with a line that includes Black Gold Megazord, which I'm excited about because I love Black Gold repaints, and then a Glowing Green Ranger, which is whatever. But Bulk and Skull, that's actually super exciting. I'm definitely picking those up. Outside of like little mini collectible figures from the 90s, I can't remember Bulk and Skull ever getting figures. So that's actually super cool, and I think that's neat, and I wanted to highlight that. The only other thing that was there was a brief thing about Cosmic Fury. Simon Bennett had a nice message, kind of a send-off goodbye, you know, saying going out with a bang and all that stuff. And then we got our first preview clip, our second preview clip, because there was that one, but it's just of the opening scene. It was really short. Honestly, there's not even a whole lot to discuss, because it more or less was just an extended version of that battle shot we got, which I don't remember if it was in the trailer, which was like, you know, the Netflix trailer, or the opening, or both, but I'm sure you all know the shot. It's like of that big battle with all the Dino Fury Rangers still in their Dino Fury suits, and the Morphin Masters are flying all around. It's kind of like just an extended version of that. There wasn't a whole lot of new information. Admittedly though, it was really cool to see. Like, I love the scale of the feel of the fight with the Morphin Masters flying around. It looks, you know, even though the Morphin Master CGI is a little iffy, it's like I'm never one to complain about that, but outside of that, it looked fairly cinematic for PR, which we already knew, but I really like that. I really love the score, you know, hearing the score, and it reminds me that Dino Fury / Cosmic Fury has one of my favorite scores. You know, there is footage of them fighting a bunch of different monsters. I'm not going to pretend to know which Sentai they came from. Are they all from Kyuranger? Are they all from others? Like I've said in the past, I have a terrible memory about that on top of my apathy towards Monsters of the Week. I did notice the evil version of Champ from Kyuranger, so that's going to make it in there. So they do have that, but I didn't, like any of the other ones I didn't recognize. Like, they're just monsters to me, so I'm not going to be like a breakdown of like, oh, who this is from this year, because I have no idea. The Champ one, though, I recognized. Also, just a total side note, I don't care if it does look a little bit cheaper. I really do dig the Ghost Ranger suit. I wish there was maybe some white accents on the helmet, but I really dig that. I hope one day we get a figure of it. Like, I don't know, it was just such a nice surprise at the end of the series, and there's just something I like about the color patterning on it. But probably the only significant reveal is, like, they're looking for Zed, and he's being served a drink by one of his minions, and it definitely gives off more, like, silly Zed vibes. It's funny, because I felt like, in the end of Dino Fury Season 2, he was channeling more of that Season 2 energy, like, you know, making him sillier. And this one definitely channeled with that more MMPR Camp Zed type of stuff, where he's being handed a drink and overseeing his conquering. And we do get to hear his new voice, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan. I think that it's unfortunate that the last guy left because of fan reaction. Because, like, again, even neither of them, to be honest, are that close to the original, and I know that's kind of hard to do. Although, admittedly, amongst all kinds of voice acting, whether cartoon or whatever, I've seen some amazing, like, recreations or close to recreations, and it would have been nice to be able to get somebody that could create it closer. But I did think that the guy that was voicing him before, which I think was also the voice of Venjix, I think he got better as time went on. Like, it wasn't the best, but I thought it was okay, and it was enough for me to headcanon, like, okay, it's not a fully resurrected Zed, it's just the evil, so it's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit distorted, a little almost robotic in a way. But I think he got better as time went on. Like, I think by the time we got to his last few appearances in Dino Fury Season 2, he sounded closer. Like, he didn't sound exactly like it, but he sounded closer, and I felt like the cadence was closer. And you know, it wasn't perfect, but I was fine with it. And I started to really warm to Zed's appearance in the series, and I wish they would have kept it, because this one, quite honestly, just sounds like sniveling villain number 6. Like, that was one of my not main issues. That's just one issue I noticed from the Neo Saban era period through present, as I feel like 90% of the villains are that sniveling, I'm gonna kill them out. And so it's unfortunate, especially, like, just the circumstances of why the other one left. And then I feel bad for criticizing the one now, but it's also just, it's unfortunate for, like, this final season, like, Zed's the final villain, and he sounds like Zed's sniveling cousin. This actually is Ed. The whole time, Rito was right. So yeah, that was really about it for PulseCon. You know, it was disappointing, and, you know, it's weird that, it's so weird to have this winding down, about to take a break energy for the brand when you're going for the 30th anniversary at the same time. Because there's, like, two opposing ideas. One where it's like, if you're winding down and you're going to be taking a pause, the energy they have makes sense. But for the 30th anniversary, usually when they have other anniversaries, there's like a big celebration feel. And there definitely is a feeling of apathy. And I hate to say that because I hate the brush painted with Hasbro doesn't care. Same thing like Disney doesn't care, because it's too broad of a brush. I think in general, Hasbro just, it's not a priority. I think it's less about not caring. It's just not about total lack of caring, it's just about it not being a priority. But I think there are people that are working on various aspects of the brand within Hasbro that do care. Kind of like with Disney. It's like Disney corporate didn't really care about making Power Rangers happen, but there was people that worked for Disney that worked on Power Rangers that did care. So I do hate that broad brush, because it, like, paints just a villainous brush over everybody, and I think there are people that have tried to legitimately bring some good things to it. But there's definitely a weird feeling of apathy, and it's weird to have it married with the anniversary, which I feel is unfortunate. And I didn't expect that much more. I think at most I was expecting maybe a couple product reveals or teases of, like, the last few things they had in the pipeline before the pause. I wasn't really expecting to hear anything about the reboot, because I think in general they don't want to overshadow, like, Cosmic Fury with, hey, there's a reboot coming afterwards. But also, I truly don't think they know what they're gonna do. I mean, I think that they tentatively have a, you know, like, they're supposedly still working on the reboot, but I think that there's a lot up in the air. I think that there was stuff up in the air before the strike, and then after the strike, it just makes it even worse. So, I don't know. We'll see where we go from here, but a pretty underwhelming day. But I am still excited for Cosmic Fury next week. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments. But I gotta get going to talk about some Star Wars. Let's get this done. We gotta go to Star Wars.